All right, you cheeky chapsticks. Season 3 of The Boys is absolutely diabolical. Ladies and gentlemen, FearTheBeardo here, and this is my first 3 episodes of The Boys Season 3 review. So, they're all available on Amazon Prime, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time with spoiler-free stuff. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you have already watched the first 3 episodes of The Boys. I also just want to get this out of the way real quick. If you're a parent and you're watching this video and you might be considering showing or introducing your kids to The Boys, don't do it. Don't do it, especially, or at least skip like the first 20 minutes of episode 1, or just that party scene in episode 1. I'll get into a little bit later. But this show is clearly, obviously, not for kids. This is a TV, MA, rated R, X-rated. Don't show your kids this fucking show. And also, if you are a child, if you are a younger person, do not watch this video. Do not watch The Boys. Do not watch this video. It is extremely inappropriate, especially in the very first episode. I think it's probably the worst in the first half of the first episode. As far as male extremities being shown. So, anyways, with that warning out of the way, let's jump right into the goods. So, The Boys, Season 3, Episodes 1 through 3. What I can take away from it, Billy Butcher is awesome. Billy Butcher has stolen the show completely. He is the most intriguing character of this season. Homelander comes in at a very close second. So the show opens up with the Dawn of the Seven movie. These episodes are very clever. They always start with like a VOT presentation or like a VOT product, kind of like Disney. They're plugging in their TV shows or they're plugging in their movies. This season's no different. Episode 1 starts off with the Dawn of the Seven, the Snyder Cut, if you will. It's like, you know, the director teases, he's like, oh, thanks for all those hashtags, release the Burke Cut, or whatever his name was. I think it was Burke or something like that. Releasing the Burke Cut. They recast Stormfront as the, in the movie. So it's Charlize, or I think her name is Charlize Theron. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Charlize Theron, maybe. She is Stormfront in the Dawn of the Seven movie. And then you have the rest of the Seven and they go to defeat her. Anyway, it's like the red carpet press tour. It's the premiere. The premiere for this movie, Dawn of the Seven. You see that Starlight and Huey are public. They're mainstream. Everybody knows that they're together. And everybody seems to be on Homelander. They keep questioning Homelander. They aren't giving him any kind of break away from this Stormfront Homelander debacle that he's found himself in. Being in this relationship with this former Nazi who is a white supremacist, and they just keep nailing Homelander for all this. And Homelander is playing hardcore damage control, at least for the first episode. The first episode and halfway into the second episode, we'll get into that. But Homelander is full-blown playing damage control. Vought is telling him that, you know, his numbers are down, and Starlight's numbers are surprisingly up. So, Stan Edgar, Giancarlo Esposito. By the way, Giancarlo Esposito is absolutely fantastic in this. He's fantastic in most of all of the stuff he does and that he's in. No different here. Giancarlo Esposito as Stan Edgar is fucking awesome. Anyways, Stan Edgar brings in Starlight and Homelander into his office, into the meeting room, to tell both of them that Starlight is going to be co-captain of the Seven. And Starlight kind of immediately knows what's gonna happen from this. She knows that Homelander is absolutely going to fucking hate this. She doesn't want to face the repercussions from Homelander, because Homelander is a loose cannon, even more so in this season, with all the stuff that happened from last season, you know, his girlfriend Stormfront dying, which you see, he still cares for her. He still likes her, even though in the public, he's just denying it, doing damage control from it. But as it turns out, he still does like her. He still does have feelings for her. She's in the hospital in IR. She's just very much fucked up, like Anakin Skywalker. in Revenge of the Sith. Her face is melted. She's lost an eye, lost both of her legs and an arm. She's only got one arm, one hand, which one thing at a time. So Starlight is now the co-captain of the Seven. She gets to pick who the new replacements into the Seven will be, because we have not seen Black Noir other than his appearance in that movie Dawn of the Seven. But as far as like real life goes in the show, we have not seen Black Noir yet. He's probably still dealing or in a coma from his almond joy poisoning at the end of season 2. So right off the bat, there is this soup party. And you kind of get a glimpse of how the boys and the government are kind of working together to get blackmail on some of these soups. And right away, Huey and Butcher are talking about, his name is Termite. They want to get dirt on Termite, who is this soup. He's a partier, he's into cocaine, and he's a homosexual. And it's confirmed that Butcher has an inside. There's a rat inside the Seven, and we don't see who it is right away, but Butcher has a rat, and Huey asks who it is, and Butcher just kind of says, mind your own fucking business. I just told you who it is. I have a rat, and that's all that you need to know. So that's what it is. So Frenchie and Kimiko go to this soup party, and this is where it gets very disgusting. So, I'm not sure if this drug dealer or if this person, I think his name is Timmy or Timothy. I think that's what his name. I'm not sure if it's the same drug dealer character that was in The Boys Diabolical. Could be very similar characters. Anyways, this drug dealer and Termite are lovers. Anyway, it's very disgusting. I don't want to spend too much time into it. Anyway, they do gay stuff together. Termite can shrink. He's kind of like Ant-Man. He can shrink really tiny or get really big. And he shrinks really tiny, and he goes into you-know-what, and he did cocaine before, so his nose is a little itchy, and he sneezes, and he kills his fucking lover. Just fucking rips him in fucking half. Kind of like the whole Ant-Man Thanos argument. Like, why doesn't Ant-Man just go up Thanos' butt and then, go back to regular size or go extremely big and just kill Thanos that way? The Boys kind of answers that question and does that in this episode. They kind of do that. And then when Frenchie confronts Termite after Termite killed his boyfriend, Termite goes really small and is attacking Frenchie, and then Frenchie's like, he's gonna go in my ass, he's gonna go in my fucking ass, he's gonna go in my ass and try to kill me. So Kimiko's like taking off Frenchie's pants, trying to find this guy. And anyway, Butcher shows up because Butcher's chilling outside in a van, like listening to all this, because Frenchie's wearing like a little camera on his button on his shirt. So Butcher picks up Termite, throws him in a little bag of cocaine, and starts shaking up the bag of cocaine, and Termite like overdoses. He's alive, he lives, but he overdoses. And that's just kind of like your first glimpse of how the government and the Boys are sort of kind of working together. It doesn't last long, but that's kind of how the show starts. And then we get to the point where Starlight and Homelander become co-captains, and Stan Edgar leaves it up to Starlight to ultimately decide whether she wants to be the co-captain, but it's not really much of a choice. It's very, very much encouraged that she does this, because they're all into stats, because The Boys is so satirical on the real world that they're always looking at the numbers. Everybody that is involved with VOT, they're always looking at the numbers. Numbers are up in this demographic, and you're hitting this numbers, and you're hitting these figures, and that's why we're going to do this. It's all the corporate numbers and charts and shit like that. All that bullshit. That's all that VOT really kind of cares about. And Starlight has like the highest numbers that any soup has ever had before besides Soldier Boy. So they want her to be co-captain. So Huey kind of convinces Starlight, you kind of need to do this if we want to take down VOT and the Boys together. You kind of need to do this. So she does, and she's given like special, special power. Not like superpowers, but power within the Seven and power within Vought to making decisions for the Seven. Stan Edgar tells her, like, you're going to be able to make choices on who will join the Seven. Now, there's this little side story going on with Huey. Now, I was never really a fan of the drama that they put between Huey and Starlight. So I was happy at the beginning of this season that they have gone public and that they're finally together, they're accepted together, there's no drama there. But of course there is a little bit of drama because they have like this, it's almost like America's Got Talent mixed with American Ninja Warrior. I think that's what the show is called, American Ninja Warrior and America's Got Talent, like mixed together. And Starlight is the host of this show, and her job is to eliminate one person week by week. To the very end, they're going to add a person or two into the Seven. So it's kind of like it's the contest, like America's Got Talent, pretty much. So, and there's a character in this America's Got Talent show. It's called American Hero. American Hero is the name of the show, I believe. And one of the characters happens to be Starlight's ex-boyfriend. He used to be a part of this boy band that is similar to NSYNC. It's a total ripoff of NSYNC. His name is Supersonic, and he used to date Starlight. He's a new character. We haven't been introduced to him before, so they kind of like shoehorn him in to it. It's totally believable, though. And Huey kind of has an issue with Supersonic. Supersonic, he's been pretty innocent in all of it. He might be a little bit extra friendly to Starlight, but that's because he wants to get into the Seven. His whole entire dream is to get into the Seven. And he's an Hispanic superhero. So they always, the boys TV show in this canon, in this TV show, they're always playing on race and sex, and they really kind of like the whole charts and the percentages and how people are trending and stuff like that. They're always into the trends and stuff. So they're playing on the whole race card and everything like that. Like they do all of that. So Supersonic kind of is like a small wedge in the Huey and Starlight relationship, and Starlight kind of brings that up to Vought, and then they're all like, yeah, but love triangles are trending. They're up 47%, and this could be good publicity if you get into a love triangle with Huey and Supersonic. By the way, just real quick, I am going to review all 3 episodes, so they might, while I'm giving this reaction review, I might blend in the episodes a little bit, not in order, just because I binged them last night back to back to back, so it all kind of is in my brain as kind of like one long episode. So if I go out of order, it's just the way it is. Bear with me. Huey works for Victoria Newman in the Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, and everything seems good. Victoria Newman, she's not an unlikable character. You actually kind of like her. The way that she acts and treats Huey, they have a good friendship, and Huey really believes that they're good friends. And she is, she's a good friend. She's troubled, and she has a troubled past. So what they did with Victoria Newman in this show is she is Stan Edgar's. It's revealed that she is Stan Edgar's adopted daughter. So her name used to be Nadia. And we find out very quickly that her name used to be Nadia because there's this male character who comes in. His name is Tony, and he goes into the bureau and says, I want to speak to Nadia. Is Nadia here? And he's like looking at the picture of Victoria Newman on the wall, and he goes, I want to speak to Nadia. I want to speak to her. I'm her best friend. We grew up together. And Huey's just kind of like, what the fuck, dude? You're fucking crazy. Like, are you on drugs? Like, let's get this guy the fuck out of here. But it is revealed at the end of episode 1 that Victoria Newman, her real name is Nadia, and Tony and Nadia used to be in this foster home or like adoption center called Red River, and they were friends. And Nadia, Victoria Newman, she's the head popper. So she had this really, really cool power that isn't obvious, that when she does this, that it's her. It could be anybody. And that was kind of the whole theme of the end of season 2 in the courtroom and everything like that. Nobody kind of knew that she was the one doing this. So Stan Edgar saw this as a possibility and used Nadia, Victoria Newman, and they're playing both sides. How Stan Edgar is with Vought, and then had Victoria Newman, get into government and get into the Bureau of Superhuman Affairs. And Huey eventually tells Butcher, he goes, you know what? Like, when Huey finds out. So Huey finds out that Victoria Newman is the head popper at the end because Tony confronts her. Tony and Victoria Newman, they get into like a fight, a scuffle. She, pops off his hand. She pops off his jaw and she fucking kills him. All kind of in front of Huey. They don't know that Huey's there. But Huey sees it all and he goes, oh, fuck, like she is the head popper. So he calls up Butcher and he goes, Butcher, I wish we could have done this, the right way, but I've been tricked. I was fucked in this whole thing. I've wasted a year of my time. You were right. There's no shot for us to do this the right way. We need to do it your way. We need to, I'm joining the boys again, pretty much. The Deep is reintroduced to the show, so the Deep is kind of back into the whole Vought swing of things. He's not yet in the 7, but he's trying to do some damage control, some more character development. He went to that whole church cult, got married. It seems like he actually does kind of love his wife, or he does have a soft spot and some affection for his wife that was kind of picked out and given to him. They do have a good relationship, but a little bit later on, it seems like she might be with the Deep for all of the wrong reasons. But the interaction between Homelander and the other members of the 7, the Deep got a spot on this show that's clearly they're trying to do a satire off of the Tucker Carlson show. So the Deep already had his spot, his segment on the Tucker Carlson show. And then Homelander was up next, and Homelander had a problem with that. He goes, how the fuck did you get a spot ahead of me, huh, Deep? And Homelander, he's just very intimidating, and you just never know what he's going to do, and that's especially present in this season. Homelander has gone full-blown fucking nuts, and everybody's just apologizing to Homelander. Like, the Deep is like, oh, I don't know. Like, he's like bragging to Homelander a little bit at first about his new book, and then when Homelander questions him about, how'd you get the spot ahead of me? I always go first. How did you get a spot ahead of me? And the Deep's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it wasn't my choice. I didn't do it. And you know what? Fuck my book. I didn't even write my book. Shia LaBeouf's ghostwriter wrote my book. Like I'm a nobody. Like, you're the best, Homelander. You're the best. I'm sorry. They fucked up, not me. And Ashley, who's kind of like the new Madeline Stillwell, she's like, we're going to talk to whoever made this mistake and we're going to fire them or whatever. And then also Homelander has his beef with A-Train. A-Train doesn't run anymore. He doesn't use his super speed at all. He's still in the 7, and the 7 and Vought try to pretend like he does, but he doesn't. He has heart issues and he's too scared to run because his doctor said, it's kind of like playing Russian roulette. Nothing could happen, or his heart could just fucking explode. So he doesn't run anymore, but he still is in that habit of eating and drinking a whole bunch of food all day long, because when he was A-Train, when he was running, he needed like 30,000 calories a day to like stay in shape and to like not deprive himself of nutrients. But since he's not running anymore, he's still eating the same. So there's an ongoing joke this season where Homelander's just like, you're a fucking fat ass. Like, what are you drinking right there? What is that drink? And A-Train's like, Shake Shack? Do you want one? I'll just fucking go run over and bring you one. He goes, no, ooh, you got the extra whipped cream. Yummy. He's like, you're a fucking fat ass, poking his fucking muffin top a little bit. Even though he looks like he's in shape. He's not actually fat. Homelander's just giving him a whole bunch of shit. But it's just funny because, like, whenever Homelander sees A-Train, he's always calling him a fucking fat ass. And it's honestly hilarious. Butcher's British quips are top notch this season. They're in full force. I can't do it justice because I'm not British and I'm not Carl Urban, who does a fantastic job as Butcher this season. I can't say enough about Butcher's character this season. It's fucking awesome. So later on in episode 1, it turns out that Maeve is the rat. Maeve is the rat within the Seven who is giving intel to Butcher. And she shows up at Butcher's house and says, you know, take a look at this. She has two things for Butcher. She wants to show him the new Compound V24, which is the Compound V, but it only lasts for 24 hours. They think that's still out the bag, that it might last a little bit longer than 24 hours. It's not perfect. It's still in its testing phase. So she gives Butcher 3 vials of this V24 and then also tells him and says, hey, look at this top secret intel about Soldier Boy on how he died. And they come to the conclusion that Soldier Boy was like the first Homelander, but he died by this secret weapon, the secret atomic weapon. And they realize that their goal, what they need to do to kill Homelander, is find this atomic weapon. So they need to go infiltrate and interrogate Soldier Boy's old team, the Payback. The Payback is like the old Seven. So they need to go interrogate and find the old members. They need to find Soldier Boy's. They need to find Soldier Boy's sidekick, and they need to find Soldier Boy's old girlfriend, the Crimson Countess, and his sidekick, Gunpowder. So the team splits off. Butcher goes to this like gun convention, which they totally try to do like the whole alt-right gun stuff, and you know they play on like the whole New World Order and the government's trying to take our guns and stuff, which I mean it's kind of hard to deny in real life, but they try to like make it a joke in the show, but it's not really a joke because it's like a lot of it is kind of fucking true. Like they talk about George Soros and stuff like that, and it's like, well, this stuff is kind of fucking true in real life, but they're trying to make it like satire and trying to make it like, you know, right wingers bad, and it's like, okay, all right. But anyways, so Butcher goes to confront Gunpowder, because Gunpowder, I guess, might have been abused or hazed or sexually abused by Soldier Boy. So then, after they do that, or after Butcher does that, Gunpowder isn't having any of it, and he goes to try to fucking kill Butcher in the parking garage, and really fucking hurts him. Shoots him through the leg, shoots him across the cheek, and you know, he's like a marksman. He's kind of like a dead shot or a blood sport is kind of what he is. He's like a perfect shot. So then when he gets injured, Butcher gets injured, he makes it out of there and he goes back to his apartment. He's patching himself up, and that's when he gets a phone call from Huey and says, Newman's a soup, all this, you know, you were right. We need to do it your way. I want to get back on the team. While at the same time, simultaneously, a side story, Frenchie and Kimiko go to find the Crimson Countess, who is Soldier Boy's girlfriend. So they go to Votland, which is like a total kind of like ripoff of Disneyland, and they totally lean in and play into the woke shit. So, you know, the boys, they don't play favorites too much. You know, they do the whole right-wing bad stuff, and then they do the whole left-wing is like extra, super extra and stuff like that. So at Votland, it's totally woke. Like, they do the whole LGBT turkey legs and the woke, and what was a few of the other ones they did? It was, they just had like rainbow shit everywhere, and they were totally like leaning into like that whole thing. And I thought that shit was funny too, especially because it was like Disneyland. So anyways, they go to like this play, this performance of the Crimson Countess. She's singing about the history of Soldier Boy and stuff like that. And then they get backstage passes after the show to go see her, and she's just crushing up cocaine and doing sniffies. And they go to talk to her to ultimately they go to pin her down. Kimiko pins her down, and you know, she gets away, runs away, and she fucking kills people in this fucking park. The Crimson Countess does. So they don't really get much information from the Crimson Countess, but they got a little bit of a lead on Gunpowder. So when Huey tells Butcher that, you know, he's back, and tells him that, you know, that Victoria Newman is a soup, the head popper, that's when Butcher takes the V24, the Compound V. And then he goes and meets Gunpowder in that same parking garage that he almost died in the day before, and he just totally fucking beats the shit out of Gunpowder to the point where Gunpowder does tell him all that he knows. And then Butcher starts to punch him again, and Gunpowder's like, wait, like I told you everything. I really told you everything that I know. And Butcher's like, yeah, but that doesn't change who you are. and just beats his fucking head in. And he's just so angry. Then all of a sudden he discovers that he has heat vision. And he just lasers the fucking shit out of Gunpowder, who is already dead pretty much, and just cuts his head straight in half. The gore is awesome. If you're into that, the gore in this show is really well done, better than the other seasons, I think. The CGI on the gore and the special effects, it's really top notch. It's very disgusting and very real looking. And you just see like the top of his skull falls off, and like his brain like is like melted and just like melts all over like his fucking shoulder and everything. Very disgusting. So by the end of episode 2, it's Homelander's birthday, or his made up birthday, right? And like I said earlier, Homelander still has a relationship with Stormfront that's kind of secret. She's tucked away in Vought, in this hospital bed. She doesn't really do anything except lay there all day. Very injured, not much of a life. But she cares about Homelander. And she tells Homelander, like, nobody suffers more than you do, even though it's, like, ironic because she's sitting on this bed. No life, no legs, no arms, missing an eye, just fucking burned up, no hair, just very ugly and disgusting looking. But she does care about Homelander, and she sticks out her one good arm and says, here, let me, like, help you feel better or whatever, and fucking gives him a hand job. Like, Homelander's sitting there, like, thrusting and fucking her hand. It was bizarre, but The Boys is bizarre. And later on in episode 2, this civilian is going to commit suicide. Oh, so of course Vought is there. They have the cameras up because they're working on Homelander's popularity and the whole damage control stuff. So they see that a civilian is going to commit suicide. They get the cameras rolling because they want Homelander to get Homelander on film to save this civilian. And while he's up there on the roof talking to her, trying to talk her out of jumping off this building, they see on this screen on this other building that Stormfront died, that Stormfront committed suicide. She bit off her tongue, swallowed her tongue, and suffocated herself to death because she kind of got the point that Homelander didn't really care about her, even though that he did care about, or that she did care about him. But then Homelander kind of is like, fuck, maybe I did care about her. He got like real preachy and real sad and everything like that, and started talking about religion and God and stuff like that, how he looks at himself that he's God, and then pretty much told this civilian, jump, kill yourself right now. And she like changed her mind. She goes, you know what? Like, I don't want to. Like, I don't really want to. He goes, no, too late. Jump. Kill yourself. And then she's like, really, like, I do not want to kill myself anymore. And then his eyes light up like he's going to fucking laser her anyway. So she does. She jumps off and kills herself right there. And then Ashley, who is the new Madeline Stillwell, like, puts the camera down and like everything like that. So they're going to have a Homelander kind of celebration birthday party where Starlight is going to introduce her new charity. And at that charity event, or at the party for Homelander, and where Starlight is introducing her charity, Starlight is kind of speaking for Homelander and saying, Homelander regrets the whole thing with Stormfront and everything. A guy in the crowd actually shouts. He goes, "You're in love with the Nazi!" And Homelander loses it. He takes the mic and is like, "I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. You're all sorry. I am who I am. I am." And he's like, kind of talking like he's God. And he goes, "You should be thanking Jesus Christ that he put me here to protect all of you. I could scorch this entire world and not feel anything, not feel bad about it at all. I'm here to protect you. I don't answer to anybody." He's like, "I don't answer to anybody." And you just see a whole bunch of people, like Mother's Milk's ex-wife's new boyfriend is like a huge Homelander fan. And he's like at home looking at it. He's just like leaning into the TV, smiling and stuff like that. You see at the start of episode 3 that his ratings went up after that speech, and they were like, your demographic again across white males across America went up like 60%, and you're polling now at 97%, even higher than Starlight. And then And they're trying to do it like the fucking white male's bad or whatever. Like, this show is very satirical based off of, like, what they think are real-world issues. But anyways, Homelander's, like, popular again. So he kind of, you know, how Stan Edgar gave Starlight all those special powers to control the Seven. Well, now that Homelander's back on top, now Homelander has a little bit more leeway. Not so much with Stan Edgar, but with Ashley, the new Madeline Stillwell, Homelander's getting a little bit more ballsy. And Homelander goes to Starlight because Starlight needs to decide who she's going to add into the Seven off of this American Gladiator TV show. So Homelander's like, you know what? I want to bring the Deep back. Fuck the people in the show. I want to bring the Deep back. So you choose one person from the show, and I'm bringing back the Deep. And then Starlight's like, nope, absolutely not. I'm in control. And if you think you are, and if you're going to do this, then I'll just release the video of you, you know, murdering all those people on the plane with Maeve back from season 1. And he says, do it. I dare you to do it. Because once you do that, I'll have nothing to lose. How about we start with your hometown? And then I'll go to Maeve's hometown and destroy that. And then how about I just wipe New York City off of the fucking map? And then how about I just fucking destroy everything? He goes, because if I have nothing to lose, I'll just fucking destroy everything. And then you'll have nothing. You'll be dead. Like, I'll just kill everything. Like, and then Starlight's just kind of taken back, and she goes, oh, fuck, like, he really means it. Like, I'm not kidding. Homelander is fucking diabolical in this season so far. Starlight doesn't really have a choice, so she kind of goes along with it. She picks her ex-boyfriend, Supersonic, and then Homelander introduces the Maeve. They're doing the show. It's like the season finale of the America's Got Talent, and Homelander picks the Deep. And at the end of this finale, Homelander and Starlight are talking, like, thanking the audience, thanking the contestants and everything. And Homelander's like, by the way, we've been keeping it a secret all this time, but I just can't keep it in anymore. Me and Starlight are dating and we're in love. And then Starlight's like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? And then all the producers and Ashley and everything like that, they're like clapping. They're like, oh my gosh, Homelander, that was amazing. Everybody's going to love it. The world is going to love Homelander and Starlight, co-captains of the Seven, and they're dating and they're in love. And Starlight is just like, what the fuck? Like, what just fucking happened? She is totally taken back. And then Ashley's like, let's run that again. Let's run that entire thing again, except actually, Starlight, can you, like, look not so shocked? Can you, like, look more positive? Like, you're in love with Homelander. So when they do it again, and Homelander does it and introduces and says, yeah, me and Starlight are in love. Starlight does, like, I'm not sure why she did it to this extreme. Maybe to sell it, or, you know, because she needs to do this for Huey and the boys for the end goal, but she fucking starts kissing Homelander, like starts making out with him on screen after they do it, and he says that they're in love. They start making out and kissing and stuff like that. And then while that's going on, the boys are on their own kind of side story where, because Gunpowder told Butcher that Grace Mallory, I think her name is Grace Mallory, the old blonde lady who worked for the CIA or the FBI, who is now watching over Ryan, Butcher's son, Homelander's son, and Butcher's wife, Becca's son. She's watching over Ryan, Homelander's kid. And Gunpowder says Grace Mallory knows. Grace Mallory was there in Nicaragua. So the boys go to visit Grace Mallory and Ryan. And this is where Grace Mallory, she's kind of put into a corner. She doesn't want to tell the boys any of this top secret information because she's afraid that some of her friends or family could die. And then Butcher's like, yeah, well, if you don't tell me, I'll just go kill them anyway. So it's like, you don't really have a choice. If you don't tell me, your friends are going to die. And if you are scared your friends are going to die from telling me, you know, it's going to be the same result. So you might as well just fucking tell me. So then here we get a flashback sequence, which they did a really good job of making young Grace Mallory look very convincing and very good to the older Grace Mallory. I don't know if these two actresses are related in real life. They both very much resemble each other. So we get this flashback in Nicaragua where she is with the Payback team, which is Soldier Boy's team, and they're in Nicaragua, and the Supes are just making an absolute ass of themselves. And you see young Stan Edgar there. So young Stan Edgar, you think that he's like on the same team as Grace Mallory, but then he kind of like, he threatens her kind of like with blackmail or whatever about the Supes being in the military, because she doesn't want the Supes in the military, but Stan Edgar kind of did. And then they get attacked. They get ambushed by, the enemy army. And you just see everything is going crazy because the Supes, the payback team, they're not soldiers. Besides Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy's the only one that's kind of a soldier. All of the other ones are just kind of dumb fucks. And they start killing their own team, their own army, their allies, because they don't know. When shit hits the fan and explosions or bullets flying everywhere, they're just all kind of like disoriented. They don't know what's going on. So the payback team starts fucking killing their allies, and then Grace Mallory's like, those were my fucking men. And then Crimson Countess just kind of like looks, was like, oh fuck, and she just kind of like runs away. Gunpowder is on this Gatling gun, just fucking killing everybody, killing bad guys, killing good guys, and Grace Mallory's just kind of running around for her fucking life. She doesn't know what's going on. She gets hit with the fucking bomb, she flies away, and she like, she gets tossed to the other side of the fucking field, and she's passed out, incapacitated. And then it shows her wake up, and she sees the damage, and she sees that some of the Supes are dead, some of the Supes are missing fucking limbs. She sees Black Noir, and it kind of explains why Black Noir is a mute, because he does have brain damage. His skull was open, and you can see his brain. Half of his face is fucking melted. His eye is like all white and popped out of its fucking socket. And that's where you see that Soldier Boy was captured by Russians. So they think that Soldier Boy died. Like Crimson Countess tells Grace Mallory that Soldier Boy's dead, and look, the Russians are taking him away on this helicopter. So it is led to believe that Soldier Boy is dead, but that's not really what they want. They want the Russians' weapon that killed Soldier Boy, because they want that weapon to kill Homelander. So then once that's all done, Butcher is pissed off. He's super fucking pissed off. And Ryan is like running towards Butcher. And it's like, Butcher, where are you going? What's wrong with you or whatever? And Butcher's like, get your fucking hand off of me. And Ryan's like, no, like, what's wrong? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, do you hate me? And he goes, what do you think after you killed my Becca? And then Ryan is just heartbroken. He starts crying. He rips off his fucking necklace that I think that was Becca's or Butcher gave to him, and just runs away. So Butcher does have a kind of sickness from taking that compound V. It doesn't look like the effects of it fully do go away after 24 hours. That's why I'm assuming that these powers could be lingering from the V24. He probably will wind up taking more later on down in the season. Oh, and then Frenchie. I didn't really care about Frenchie's side story in season 2. And then they kind of start to do it again in this season. But there's a purpose. There's a purpose in this season because the lady, Little Nina, who is after Frenchie and his old girlfriend, she is Russian. So this is like Butcher and the teams, the boys. This is like their chance to get more information on where this weapon is in Russia. So that's about all I have to say about it. Very positive things about The Boys Season 3 so far. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it way fucking more than Kenobi. This show has made me feel emotional. This show has made me crack up fucking laughing to the point where I had to pause because I was laughing so hard I didn't want to miss what was going on screen after the joke or whatever happened. Very funny, very diabolical, a lot of gore, a lot of action. I enjoy a lot The Boys Season 3. Skip out on Kenobi, watch The Boys Season 3. But with that being said, let me know what you think about The Boys Season 3 down in the comments section below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Share it with a friend who you think would enjoy it. Subscribe to this channel if you're new, and we'll talk to you again soon.